All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to another episode of Walking with the Master. Man, this is dedicated to Grandmaster and Dr. Moses Powell. We appreciate him, love him, and it's based on that. But it's really to extend, it is about those masters who have trained under masters, under Doc, and so forth. But this is a wonderful, wonderful one. These are my brothers and friends, and those who have actually had and been in many, many years, and I'm happy to have them on. Now, listen, now this is the Connecticut Connection, and we're going to have a good conversation with the Connecticut Connection. You know, we got Grandmaster George Logan. We got Chief Professor Greg McCall. We have Professor Walter Evans, and we have the great Warrington Hudlin. Yes, indeed. You know, he's not one who want to be called master. He's not one who want to be called any of these names. Brother is the best term. And in truth, it is the highest term because you can lose all of the other stuff. But if you want to lose, so anyway, we're all brothers in this. And I want to welcome you all. Welcome to Walking with the Master.
Yes.
Man, we're going to get this kicked off. I've had the pleasure, and everybody that's out there have had the pleasure of seeing you all on the show, except our brother, Chief Professor Greg McCall. I want to get started with him, you know, just sharing the words, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself, sir.
Well, you know, I started back in 69, 70 when Doc, actually brother Richard and brother Jerome and brother Barofa had brought Doc in, and I started at Horse Bushnell Church where it all started. And I had a friend of mine, you know, he was training with Sanuces at the time. And he was telling me, you know, bro, you need to come down and see this man, you know, and this and that and this. You know, I'm out there in the street. I'm saying, look, I don't need no martial arts, man. So he finally convinced me. He finally convinced me to come. So I came down there, man. When I saw Doc, man, I said, I want to do what he do, you know. But I had other reasons. I had, you know, I wanted for the other reasons. But since then, you know, I've been training with him since then. And once, I don't know if you can remember back in the day when the secretary that was running the school at the time, and David Brooks, who actually he's Muhammad Sabaz. Now I guess Doc was teaching him privately at home at him and his family at their home and stuff like that. So when things didn't go right as far as there, Doc turned Sanuces over to Grandmaster. I mean, not Grandmaster, but Muhammad Shabazz. I guess he changed his name to, I don't know his name now. And the conduct and stuff. That's so that's how me and him got together, because Doc brought me and him together from there, you know. But it's all started back there, man.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. So, you know, listen, the Connecticut Connection, how did it get started? And I mean, and when we say Connecticut Connection, it's just really, you know, that there are you all that started back in that time in Connecticut, you know, because Doc is doing stuff, you know, in New York, of course, and
right
in different places. So kind of tell us, who wants to start with?
But let me start, because I'm the guy who's not from Connecticut.
Okay.
I was in Connecticut. I was a freshman at Yale, which is New Haven, Connecticut, and I got there actually before my freshman year, and there was a summer program called Yale Summer High School, and so I met that young man right there with the I don't know why none of us got hair, but he still got hair, and he said. And so he said, I was impressed because I think I was a green belt in Okinawa and karate. and he was already a brown belt in judo. Oh, I had never met any brothers who were high ranking in judo or high ranking period.
That's right.
So we instantly became friends. And so he was introducing me to the community up there. It was a brother. You know, we should just pause for a moment. There's this Connecticut panel right here. We're missing some people who were very pivotal, who passed away. Billy Parker, Kevin and Warren,
Glenn Drew.
Glenn Drew. It was a whole group of us that George was the person who was my bridge to meet everyone else. But in talking about what he did, he said there's a guy who came to do a demo, and he kept talking about this man. First of all, he talked about how he was dressed. He said he had his hat on, and he had these rings on his fingers, and he would demo. He took the rings off and gave it to the girls on the side, and was doing this movement. Oh, that's different. And that was, of course, talking about Moses Powell. So through George, I met everybody in Connecticut. I'm not from Connecticut, but through him, I met everybody in Connecticut. And that's my point of entree into the state and also to this martial art lineage.
Awesome. And Grandmaster Logan, come on, talk to me.
Us. Yes, I started martial arts in 1967 under Antonio Parada Sensei in the Bronx on Tremont School of Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. Shortly after, I moved to Connecticut, to New Haven specifically, in '68. And in doing that, I started judo then, and I, had a pretty good judo career as well. But as we were doing that, I remember
this guy went to Olympic trials. It's about pretty good.
But in doing so, after that, we used to do a little karate as well, and we used to mix it into the jiu-jitsu. So, karate and judo is jiu-jitsu. But Dr. Powell, there was a brother, first of all, who brought him to New Haven. His name was George X. Brumsey. He goes under the title now of Jihad Shabazz. And he was a Muslim brother, and he brought Doc to the New Haven area and stuff. And it was a phenomenal demonstration they had at Hill House High School. Accompanying Doc was Grandmaster Cofield. And at that time, they were just masters. I think Doc was a fourth and Cofield was a third. And they put on this demonstration. I had been going to tournaments. I've seen all the greats, Ronald Takanashi and Grandmaster Duncan and all these great people. And so, I had heard of Doc, but when I heard he was coming to Hill House High School, we went over there. And man, that was something to behold, believe me, and stuff. They had the original crew was there. It was Brother David, Brother Jeffrey, the Grandmaster Lumumba and Soki Little John Davis. And then they had some underlings as well. But I mean, they put on a demonstration that was second to none. And when I seen that, I was like, whoa, I think I want to do that. I'm doing the wrong thing. Let me be a part of that. And so that's how we got introduced to the Sanuces, because in '69 or the early '70s, he came into the New Haven area. And that's when we joined forces. And then shortly after, Soke had came to Connecticut as well through Doc. And I remember going up to Bridgeport, Connecticut in 1970. Me and Warrington would hike a ride or get a ride or whatever. And we used to go down there and train with him even before he moved to the New Haven area. And then he was training with Master Rex Lee. And so that was our introduction, my introduction to Sanuces. And when I met Warrington again, I think he was a sophomore in high school, and he would come in the summertime and stuff. And we couldn't wait to get together. We would train, and then he would go home on his summer vacations. And then shortly after, when he got out of high school, then we really started training together at that point.
Man. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we go way back.
Yeah, Doc just made his rounds from Harvard to New Haven, back to New York, man.
And being a student of Doc, he is a father figure. And when he used to come to my home all the time, he used to love that record. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
but we should clarify. But he was the father figure, or the central figure. The person who really ushers in was Master Low John Davis, because we would press back. I remember the first time. So George said, "Look, man, you got to get this." I said, "Okay." So we got in the car. His brother named Butch, and he drove us from New Haven down to. I'm laughing because the story is gonna be funny. We came down to Bridgeport, Connecticut, in Drexel School. So Lil is hard. Now,
Especially
know
then.
him, but he had no idea how hard he was. So we were training, and his brother Bush, he was doing something. So Lil Jon hit with the hakaru. We had never seen it before. He said, "Whoa!" And Bush hit the floor and started crawling. I can't try to tell the story. I can't even. It's so funny.
Yeah, he came from a Taekwondo background where they had no contact, and so this is the first time him having any contact. And Soki hit him with a combination, boom, boom, boom. He fell to his knees. His eyes, his pupils got big as a silver dollar, and he literally started crawling across the floor to the exit. And me and Walter's like, what the hell is he doing? That's our ride. He's gonna leave us here.
He left his shoes.
He thought he was under attack.
I mean, he left his shoes, his feet. All he wanted to go was leave. He wanted to get out of there.
He didn't have his car keys. He was out.
And the thing about it, when Little John hit you, you never thought about hitting him back.
No.
You don't want to make that
No, you never thought about it. He hit you hard enough to get all of that fight back out of you. You don't even want to think about it.
You wasn't thinking about making that mistake.
Oh my God! Yes. Well, let me ask. In terms of, did you get a chance to mention any of the others that may have been with you? I remember coming out years ago. There was a brother, because you used to have, give the seminars yourself, and it's always outside for the most part.
Yeah, lighthouse.
It was about Islam or something. He was around. There were other people that visited. Do you have?
You talking about Wali Islam?
Yes.
And Joe Jones, Jersey. I don't want to name him Jersey Joe. I used to call him Jersey Joe.
Right.
When he first came to Harvard.
And James Shepard as well, Grandmaster Anthony. You remember James Shep as well. He was also one of the parts of the New Haven or Connecticut crew as well.
Yeah, he was very good at watching the front door while we would do different things.
Yeah.
My background entertainment. I'm gonna take the liberty of telling stories. So when Grandmaster George Logan was going for, I don't know, it was his third or fourth time, one of the advanced ranks, he would have to committee all the students. And so he told me it was the day for his test, and George had the flu. He had the flu bad. So those guys said, well, yeah, I'm sorry you're sick, but today is the test. So we were like, damn, but he's got the flu. He got the flu. He said, no, go. And so George would go through all the exercises, all the techniques, and then there was a trash bag on the side. We'll go, so you see, go throw up. He would throw up, he'd come back and get back online. And so we were friends. We've been friends for many, many years. So he said, okay, now commit that. I said, he's sick. No. He said, if you don't hit him, I'm gonna hit you. I said, okay. so all of us, this is our friend, but we all had to come hard at him, and James Shepard, he was just showed no mercy. I said, I'm not sure you're really his friend, but we come at him so hard. but he must have thrown up maybe 3 or 4 times. And no, don't wait. You finished? Wipe your mouth, get back in there. So people have no idea of the training we went through and the testing. It was just so rough. In fact, it was so rough that I refused. People don't notice, I've never tested. Only way I got the black belt Lil John took me to Manhattan Center in what year it was, 73. And I fought, and he said, go in the black belt. I said, I'm a brown belt. He said, no, go to the black belt division. I said, okay. So I got in the division. My first match, I knocked somebody out. I mean, literally unconscious. It doesn't good. So I got back and said, here's your belt. So that's the only test I've ever had. I had to physically knock somebody out in competition. That's why. And I prefer that way because what George went through was too much pain for me. It was painful to watch it.
And Brother Martin, you remember also that was a 2-part test. Yeah. And each day it was like 2.5, 3 hours. On the final day with that and stuff, man, we did all the techniques and everything, and I was drained as much as I had the flu. And so now he's like, oh, let's gear up. So now I had to put the gear on. He was like, hurry up. He didn't want me to get my win. So now I went. They were changing partners every 2 minutes. So first I'm fighting one person. Then 2. Then by the time we got to the 6th round, and they had stopped 15 rounders already, but I was going 15 freaking rounds. Right? And so at the end of 6, they let the person in. So now you're fighting 2 people at round 7. Then the next round they add another person and another person and stuff. And that's it was so drooling. I couldn't even hold my arms up. I'm rolling out across the room, and as Soki was saying, hit him. If you don't hit him, I'm gonna hit you. And everybody was in fear. Soki said they were definitely trying to hit me. But yeah, that was the test of tests, no doubt about it. And then he would say, us, we forgot the tape. Maybe we can do it again next week.
Brutal. And the exercises. I mean, when you get on all fours, you put one head inside your head, then bang you in the stomach.
The isometrics. Yes.
It was brutal.
Man, and medicine ball.
Stomach.
Sophie's Little John's medicine ball most of the time was the fist.
That's right.
That built me. I mean, from the rib cage all the way around to the stomach. Man, that made the stomach so hard. And you had to take it. I mean, just you curl up fetal position, it just open you up and continue. That's it.
Remember how we would all lay on our back side by side with our feet 10 inches off the floor, and he would walk like we were carpet.
Yes,
stomach to stomach.
Listen, I remember one day Doc was at my house. So I went to the shower and took a shower, right? And so I worked out with Soki the day before, and I'm taking a shower and stuff that day, earlier that day, and I'm taking a shower, and I went, and I screamed. Doc ran to the bathroom door, started knocking. I said, what's up? I said, I got touched under my rib cage by Soki and stuff, man, and I still had his knuckle print on me. And so Doc was like, yes, Soki, this is more energy.
That was common back then to have prints all over your body. Black eyes, busted nose. To say, come on, I'm taking you out of that martial arts class. You're getting all beat up, but I loved it.
I can tell something.
People wondered why, man, but it was for the condition, it was for your mind, your body, and everything else, man. And I remember looking at Doc for the first time, and the first things that came to my mind, I said, he's fast as smoke, as sure as death. You know what I mean? Fast as light, as smooth as smoke, and as sure as death. Those things. He was.
That's true. Say what Walter just mentioned. Like my first year of training, so I'm went for school year. So it was September to May. I had a black eye every day. Now I'm going to Ivy League school, and people are like, "Why you have a black eye?" Well, yeah, I'm training, and by the end of the school year. You say you ain't got a black eye anymore. I said, yeah, I'm getting better. So I could trap I stopped getting black eyes.
That's right. Awesome. Now, in terms of your life and what you have begun to do and what you do, I mean, how did it affect your, the other part of your life, There's martial arts, which is a whole world in itself, but then, like for yourself, Warrington, you went into the film industry or art. Would you tell me a little bit about that? And I want you to bridge it to tell me how does the martial art affect the other aspect of your life, or does it?
I thank you for that question because I am firmly convinced and would say that there is no separation between your daily life and martial arts. If you understand that martial art is a philosophical system, it affects everything you do.
Yes.
And comite, all the rules of comite apply to negotiate on a Hollywood contract or any kind of agreement with whoever. It's the principles. For example, I just finished doing a production, and one thing those down our teachers was secondary. He said, "What's your secondary? What's your secondary?" And so everything I did, like one person didn't show up. Okay, secondary. I have to figure out how I'm going to change the script so that we don't need that person anymore. And constantly always having your backup, your secondary, and you always stay focused and calm. Being stressed is useless. Being afraid is useless. Being nervous is useless. So the martial art principles, literally, I am just stunned that everything I learned in the dojo applies today in my regular life.
Awesome.
I can agree to that. You know, martial arts open a lot of doors for me. Just by doing applications in New York, I would put, you know, martial artist on the applications, whatever it was for. And that would draw an interest right away. Oh, you're a martial artist. So what rank are you? And when I get into the stories about, well, I compete on the weekends and I train. And when I mention Dr. Moses Powell or Soki Little John Davis, you know, most of the time they heard about him back then. They heard about Moses and they say, oh, really? And that would open the door. You know, the little small movie I was involved with, what do you call it? The casting director saw my name and she called me out. She says, you're a student. I trained with Musa as well. And said, yeah, you stand over there. And there you go. I was location security. I was unit manager for the second shoot, fight and stunt choreography. Small movie, you know, $2 million project, but I was in there. It opened doors. Shipping, receiving. When I came home from college, I needed a job real quick. And I put, when I came home.
That was Columbia University.
Yes, that's right. A small university up in state New York, but nevertheless, I learned my lesson. Okay, so you know,
They're good educators.
I needed a job, and I put there, you know, martial artist, man, and I got a ship and receiving job, and from that, I bring trophies into the, you know, workplace, and I got moved from ship and receiving to driver for the company and the garment district in 34th Street, Manhattan, multi-million-dollar guy, and he would trust me. In fact, he's the one who got my driver's license back for me. Insisted I got my driver's license, so now I was driving the big caddy. So it opened up a lot of doors for me, really. Martial arts does, yeah.
Great.
It was a way of life, you know, especially working in the corporate world, you know, work insurance and working with people with disability. It helped me. It helped me through. And as me and Grandmaster George Logan working these different programs and stuff with kids, and not just kids, with adults and stuff, it helped you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Great. How about yourself, Grandmaster George?
As I said, you know, the lesson is never over. This is a life lesson. It is a way of life. And again, you know, it's opened up so many doors for me. You know, I started doing the after school programs in 1998. I believe I was the first person in Connecticut to do after school programs. And that launched on to the summer camps for the inner city youth and stuff like that. We've worked with Southern Connecticut. I've done alumni programs with Yale. I've taught the medical students at Yale. I've taught the law students at Yale. Me and Professor had done a summer camp for the professors, kids that attend their summer camps at Yale. It was called the Bulldog Yale Camp. And and stuff. So we've done so many different camps and after school programs throughout New Haven and Hartford and stuff. So, you know, and martial arts is hard and so is life. So it teaches you to endure, you know what I mean? To keep on going, never give up, you know? And those are life lessons that you take from the dojo into life itself when you're outside of the dojo. So it's done so many great things for me. If it wasn't for martial arts, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Because listen, I've been on the block and around the corner two times. So, so again, you know, it's been very helpful. You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you know, I heard something through the grapevine, Warrington, that you had something to do with naming Kumite-ryu Jiu-Jitsu. Is that accurate?
I remember being in Lil John's apartment on Cedar Parkway, and he said, "Man, everybody has these styles, and you know, I have a style. So what should I call it? What should I call it?" So I said, "Well, you're the top-rated fighter on the East Coast. You're known for Kumite, so call it Kumite-ryu." Yeah, good idea. Good idea. and in fact, it's funny. In preparation for this call today, I'm looking for my notes. When he founded, I wrote down 5 principles of Kumite-ryu. Now, I hope Lil Don's listening because he can come back and correct me. But my memory is weak here now. Okay, one is that he says he's always say that you stay relaxed but alert. You always work with combinations. You follow the center line, and control your breathing. And the 5th one is blanking me right now, but these are 5 principles because it was all community.
Watch your back.
It wasn't that. Maybe it was. I don't know. But these are the principles because what we did, like now today, the martial art is technique, which is wonderful. But back in the 70s, it was Kumite. All we did was fight. In fact, we took it so far. And Lil John would come to New Haven on the weekends. But we get together, George, we were crazy. Remember, George and I, we were teenagers. We had no sense. We would get into the room, it was down the basement, and we cut the lights out. And you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And we started fighting.
That's where some of them black eyes came from.
George, tell the story, George.
Yeah, that's basically what we did, you know. Then we would fight, you know, you would do your techniques, and at the end of class, you had to spar with everybody. And then at the end of that, you sparred with Soke because he was on the tournament circuit. So he was staying sharp. He was tuning up on us. Yeah. But then after that, we would, as Warren just said, we would turn off the lights and with sensitivity training. We'd turn off the lights and you would spar. Then we would form a circle. And whoever was attending that class, those people would form a circle, and then we'd turn off the lights, and it was like a street brawl. You know, it didn't last that long because it was detrimental to people's health. But we would spar to be no teams, no sides. You know, so me and Warrington may be fighting Walt, and then Warrington turn around and hit me. So you had to be very, very alert. You know, and stuff. But yeah, and we had no mat on the floor, no mat. We used to do a lot of kata. Soki would like to do a lot of kata, but me and Warrington, all we wanted to do was fight and do technique. You know what I'm saying?
We had a brother,
format, so to speak. I remember when Kumite Roots came into existence, and it was like 1970, the latter part of 1979, early 80. You know, and at that point in time, I had, you know, I remember I document all the techniques, everything. The first techniques I learned from Doc, the first techniques I learned from Soki. I can show them that today. And so one of the fellas, Warren Spann, who passed on now, he was telling Soki, he said, George got a conglomerate of techniques that you showed him. So Soki put me on the spot with 211 parts. Oh, let me see that. And so I showed him these techniques. And he was like, wow, yeah, that's it. Well, how'd you remember that? But see, in judo, you have sets of techniques. And there was 5 sets. It's called a Gokyu no Waza. And that's the 5 sets of technique. So I brought this principle with me. And so, and it helped Soki tremendously when forming Kumite-ryu Jiu-Jitsu. So when he did his first set, the 1 to 10, I was like on my 3rd set. And so he was like, how did you, so I numbered them 1 to 10. And this way I said, we'll keep it pure. You know what I mean? You can always evolve and do other things off of this, but you know, this was the textbook thing. And it was a method of like they do in judo. You have to know X amount of things for grading. And so, you know, it fit in really, really well, you know, with the system. You know, this way you could document things and you could truly have, you know, really truly test the student on the material and the information that he, you know, that he got, and see if he retained that. So yeah, those are some good days, no doubt.
Excellent.
Grandmaster, Warrington was responsible for naming Kumite Rule, but wasn't you responsible for making the patch? Well, he came to the dojo and he says, "This is the new patch," and I believe he mentioned your name.
Yes, sir. That was not the first one, but the second one. I was involved in that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But also I want to come back to Warrington only because, you know, of course, when I heard that, I said, I'm sure he did that, you know, even though I didn't know, because Warrington was he was the one who named my company, you know. And you know, even when you just said that, it reminded me of when I was, you know, I had a grand name. It was something global. He said, I was fighting with X-Man, you know, so he said, you're X-Man, won't you name them X-Man? You know, it's very simplistic when he goes into his thinking about a thing, and that's how it sounded with Kumite Ru, you know, that's what you're doing, and so that's what it is. So it was the same with me, and I owe the name to Warrington. And I owe a lot. I owe a lot, you know, and I always have to mention it.
But let's take a moment to go all the way back, because I read an article recently about the origin of names, and initially our lineage is America, but it goes back to Japan, and Japan goes back to Okinawa. And karate didn't have a name. I mean, karate originally meant empty hand. You know, so it meant a China hand. In Okinawa, karate meant China hand. Japanese don't like Chinese. So therefore, when it came to Japan, they said, no, we can't call it China hand. We're going to call it empty hand. And there were no styles. The Funakoshi, Miyagi, I forget the other names. They were all classmates. They were all there together. And so the notion of Wado, Shorai, Shotokan, go and name all the styles, they were all there together. There wasn't no names. They created names to say, this is my territory. It's almost like dividing up the area. And so, but it's all kick punch, And so naming, for example, George, when I first saw it, I said, what is this? What do you call it? What do you call it? He said, self-defense complete. I said, that made sense. That's what we were trained for long.
When we first came in, it was just that.
It was self-defense. Yeah.
Self-defense complete. I think Sanuces, I have other people speak about it came in 58. I don't remember that.
No.
Because we came aboard it and stuff in 69 and it was self-defense complete.
That's what when I started.
Or Doc, founded the name or claimed the name of Sanuces around 73, 74.
Yeah.
You know,
you can almost find out somebody's rank mean not that, but just when they came in, their seniority.
Right.
If they started self-defense complete, then you really were you're old guy now, because that's what before it has a name.
Yeah. And you know, knowing the lineage and the history is so important. You know, at my dojo, before any kick, punch, throw, or choke, or whatever is done, we have the pictures of the founders, of course, Professor V, Doc, and Soki Littlejohn. So before any punch or kick or throw or anything is demonstrated, we introduce them and let them be known that these are the founders. This is where it comes from. You know, and I think that's very important. You know, that you know your history and you teach your history. Yes.
That's great. That's great. Well, how important is recognizing your your seniors. How important is that?
If it wasn't for them, it'd
It's
be
very-
no us. They
It'd
laid
be no us. Right, exist.
Right, they laid the ground. I think that's so important, man. You know, when people put the blood, sweat, and tears in so you can benefit, I think they definitely need to be mentioned, you know, at all times and every time. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
I agree 100%. In addition, for the seniors, for example, whenever I see Lumumba, I get happy because I said, "Plum to side, I said, tell me a story." And he told me, for example, and you guys probably know the story, but I'm going to repeat it for people who are listening. I said, PI stuff, you know, because I do, as you guys know, I do Chinese martial arts, and I don't see anything that looks like that in Chinese martial arts. It was always said in Japan. I said, no. I know Chinese martial. This is not Chinese. Where'd it come from? So Lumumba told me one day he would go to tournaments and win the kumite, but he wanted to be in kata. He said, I want to win that too. So he told Moses, say, I want to be in kata. He says, come back tomorrow. And he came back. He said, now, and he created PI. He said, take that in there. Took it in there, and he won. So he created that so that Lumumba could compete in kata.
Wow, that's
but Lumumba is day one brother. So if you don't talk to your seniors, you'd never know the full story.
Beautiful.
Well, let me tell you this. Back in was it 99, 2000, when Doc brought me together with Grandmaster George Logan.
That was 95, Professor.
95. I'm
Yes,
Lucy. And he told me, he said, you know, you need to get with this brother because he's very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable of the martial arts and what he do. And we've been together ever since.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Ever
sir.
since.
Yes, sir. And Professor Walt, do you remember our encounter? Do you remember when we used to wear the black gis and me and Warrington and company when we would visit you guys at your other dojo before you got into the system?
Yeah, how can I forget? I was training with an instructor, Garnett James, in New Haven, and studied over at Southern Connecticut State College. And we did Muda Korean style. I also trained with Atari Lee over there at the dojo on Broad Street in New Haven, Connecticut. But Garnett was a good guy. He's a good friend, young guy, and he speaks English well. So I used to hang out with him, man. He was a real cool guy. He said, we're going to have some visitors this week. I said, oh, yeah, cool, man. Let's go. I'm going to show them what I can do. And, I'm showing my sidekick. Right? And man, he says, George Brumsey and his team. I said, what? Those guys with the black uniforms? The guys with the chipped teeth? The guy with the chipped. And, yeah, they'll be over. I said, oh, God, are you sure? And so they came by, man, and they were spooky as hell, man. Oh, man, George was with him. George, Warrington, they all was with him. Y'all were the bad guys back then. No, man, y'all were dusty too, man. Coming in there. And all they wanted to do was fight and look mean. You had white uniforms. We didn't have blood on them. We had shot. They were pressed up and everything. And so my heart was going boom, boom, boom. When I saw the little short guy with the chipped tooth that carried the machete all the time. I had to spar with
Wilbur Hinton.
Yeah, Wilbur Hinton. And Garnett said, "Go, your turn. Go in there." And I said, "All right." I went in there, man, and did my thing. Man. Shoot, I held my ground with this guy. And that was before he got the couple of bodies and those chips. I consider myself lucky surviving it. He went away a couple of times. He came home and then he went right back. So he was a mean guy. Warrington, I can't let you get by with this one. When I finally left Garnett and went Soki Littlejohn, and we would meet at the Teen Center on Shelton Avenue in New Haven, Connecticut, and we had class there for a while. And so Warrington and George, they still had that snidely whiplash look to them. And stuff. So Little John said, come on, you're getting good. Little John encouraged me, he said, you're getting good, Walt. Go ahead, start Warrington. I said, Warrington looked like he's that tall and stuff to me, man. You know, so I sparred with him. I tried my sidekick, and he moved to the side. Okay, I got you. And another sidekick, he swept me out. Bang! I never hit the floor before. You know, Garnett didn't cheat balls. You know, so I hit the floor, the head hit the floor. I was kind of dizzy. All I could see was Warrington's hand coming down to my head. And he screamed, this blood-curdling scream. Yeah! And he stopped that far from my face, Warrington. I don't think you remember that, but I was so mad. I survived that.
I mean, but Little John drilled in us a mentality. But that was really very useful, you know, because we knew that there was nothing would happen in the street that would be worse than what happened in the class.
Right.
The class was worse. I remember one time with some student who was very, very gun shy about getting hit. He kept flinching. Little John said, stop. He walked over to the guy, and Little John just blasted him. I mean, no warning, laid him out. He said, now, he said, are you alive? He said, yes. He said, nobody on the street is going to hit you as hard as I just hit you. So you have now experienced the worst. Don't be afraid anymore. I've already hit you as hard, you're going to get hit and still be alive.
Yeah.
Very useful.
Very unorthodox way of teaching back then. He didn't mind.
Yeah, but that to me, now, I think that way of teaching is a better way.
Yeah. It gave you a sense like I survived this, like you said.
Yeah.
And it just gave you a sense of like a lot of heart, man. Like I can survive anything now.
And the training then was so different then. We were in different times then, you know. We had a lot of different leaders then, you know. Elijah Muhammad was living at that point in time. Carmichael, you know what I mean? You know, Martin Luther King. There was so many different figures then. So we were living in different times. We were really training for survival, no doubt. And if you survive the dojo, as Brother Warrington said, you know, you're going to survive the streets, you know. And it just made, you know, a lot of good fighters. You know, as you know, Professor Walt became a champion. You know, he was a champion.
That's right.
You know, but that was the beginnings of all of that, you know.
Yes, I mean, very important. That was a point that I was going to make as well. I mean, you know, the time that was then is so different from the time now. See, it actually, in truth, it's not different, but there's an illusion that has been given, and people have been to feel like everything is cool. But it's worse. Right?
Brother, let me tell you what happened to me 2 nights ago. I'm uptown and to go to a meeting, and I had my phone out because I need to do the Google map. So in New York, unfortunately, going through a lot of mental illness on the subway. So this guy, I got and I see him. I said, okay, he's mentally ill. He's talking to himself and going crazy. So let me give him some space. So I walked past him. He said, "What's that in your hand? What's that phone?" And I said to myself, "Brother, please, I'll make you a fatality. Please don't follow me. Please don't." But I just kept walking because I know what was going to happen.
Yes.
In many ways, you get to the point where you don't have fear. You have fear of what you're going to do to somebody else.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't want to have to testify why I killed him, none of that stuff. You know, I was supposed to get home safe.
That's it.
Brother GM, let me make this right quick. Let me say this right quick. I was down in New York a couple of weeks ago, and I was on Atlantic Avenue. I went to pick me some slippers up. So now there's a parking space, you know, so there was a couple of parking spaces in front. So I'm getting ready to pull out. So I see this black Mercedes, and I'm just like, hey, this car looks familiar. So I seen the back of myself, look like Brother Chris, your brother, our brother. so now he had his back. So he get out, he had a suit on, he was having a great day, and he had his back. And I was like, yo, man, get my parking spot. So he turned around with a smile. And before he turned around, like he said, "Oh man, I gotta kick somebody's ass today." It was me, and he cracked up laughing.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, man. we're at the stage where we want to close. But I want to ask if you all would want to come back again.
Absolutely.
So more
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, this was fun.
Yes.
This was a whole lot of fun.
you know.
Yes.
Well, listen. Any final a final thought as it relates to talking to those that are younger. You know, when I say younger, what do I mean? I'm talking about that are younger in what we have done in terms of this year. I mean, you know, I may not be as old as you guys are.
Thank you.
No, I'm a young 64, a young 64, and I've been in this now since 68, 69 as well. And you know, I thought when I was coming up, I thought the stuff that they was doing to me was normal. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that it you know, now it's become abuse. So when it comes to those who are training in this day and time, you know, in this day and time, they don't understand the severity of the training that happens. So what would you say to them, you know, to have in mind from someone seasoned and been around as long as you are?
Well, let me.
They gotta want it. They gotta want it, and when they come, they gotta be focused and ready to absorb what's will be given to them. You know, you gotta appreciate it. But a lot of these young ones today, man, a bunch of cream puff.
But the training came out of a particular period of time. George just mentioned that we had elders, you know, leaders who were still alive then. And unfortunately, I mean, this is me being pessimistic. It's a significant possibility that we're gonna go backwards. When people talk about make America great again, they talk about making America racist again. And so we could be on the verge. I hope I'm not overstating this. We on the verge, could possibly be on the verge of another civil war. And so for the conditions that produce the art could come back again. And for those of us who have those skills, we will have a better chance to survive. This is a school of survival. And so I think the new generation will be in the same mindset as we were back in the 60s when we were teenagers, because the conditions will reverse themselves. We'll be back to the same sad state of affairs.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right.
Piggyback on what Warrington said about these things and times. I believe that the young people training now, whether it's Sanuces or karate, I think we need to, as a people, bring more unity and friendship in our dojos, more collaborations together, and not look at the other dojos like, you know, they're your enemy, but more like a friend, you know, and a part of extension of what you're doing. More unity and to what we're doing, and just take martial arts very seriously.
Yes. Okay.
Good. Yeah. Yes. No doubt and stuff. You know, I would say onto them that, you know, you're gonna have to go through the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the bumps, and all the above. But it is a mental and physical development, and that's something that we need in life and every day until the time that we pass on. And I would say onto the people who this panel influenced are the students of your you know, your dojo, to, you know, to try to endure, because you guys are the fountain of information. You know, and it has to be passed on. It has to be. And so when I look at this panel here, I know the Sanuces is live and well.
Awesome.
Yes.
And I'll say this too, in terms of I'm an advocate, first off, of unity. I'm an advocate of unity. I'm an advocate of keeping those who have been there before you up there, you know, recognize, you know, show your love for them in terms of what they have suffered already. So the issue, for instance, with the street organizations here in Chicago, and I know it's across the country, they did what the powers that be did was take all of the leadership in all of those organizations off the street almost at one time.
Yeah.
Those ones to now break off and become these cells of no leadership, which caused them to be totally they lose all of the education of what you should be like, and now become whatever they think they should be, which is totally destructive to each other.
Absolutely.
See, even
Mhm.
organizations, even though many have they participated in things that were out of order, but they had some level of integrity as it related to the people.
I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about Fred Hampton.
You
'Cause
know.
he was really powerful in Illinois, where I come from. But you know what? Let me interrupt you because it's something I forgot to say, and it's very critical that that we add this. We just lost an elder last week, somebody who's a contemporary of the people we're talking about, and that's Infidisi Masi. Because Masi is a contemporary, of course, Moses Powell and Ronald Duncan, and in my view, he made the last person of that generation still with us. He was 81 when he passed last week.
I didn't even know. Thank you for letting me know.
Absolutely, and he's somebody I have and I'm very close friends with his son, Khalil Masi. In fact, I'm going to organize a memorial for him inside the metaverse. But some of you guys know I work in the metaverse now. But Masi was the end of a generation.
Hey, yes, thank you for that. We constantly have to lift, and I do want to lift the name. You know that I just heard that Gina Powell passed.
What?
Yes, I just heard that, and I want to, you know, for us to keep her, the family in our prayers, and the prayer is that you know, God receives her in the best of manners. So I just wanted to also let you know that, because I just got it, and it's a shame. So.
This really is. Well, she was such a kind person, and she had a lot of love for Doc, and Doc had a lot of love for her, and you know, it's wow.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Yeah.
So let's keep her name and thoughts of her in our prayers, and you know, we keep on passing it on. So this is that place that we want to keep recognizing our leadership, recognizing our friendship, our brotherhood, and the training in this here. Now, so thank you all for coming on. I want you to know too that right after this here, there's going to be a piece that I'm entering into all of my podcasts, into our podcast, and that is about health. We have to have something on health, and we have a master, Andrew Reid, who is a brother from Jamaica. You know, he's not living in Jamaica now, but his roots is Jamaica, and he's teaching now how, you know, to take care of yourself with natural things.
Yes,
so,
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And who's hosting that is going to be is my wife. So she'll be talking with him and sharing. So that's coming on right after this. All right. Cool. So
thank you, brother. We need that desperately. That's very much needed. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, brothers. Man, you my family. Love you all, and I pray that we get another opportunity to come together. Okay.
Good.
Thank you much. Us.
Eye to eye.
All right.
Heart.
Listen. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the notification button, you know, so that you can be made aware whenever this is coming on. Because you know, when you come here, you're coming to the truth.
Yes, sir.
Us.
Welcome back, Master Andrew. I'm happy to introduce to some of our viewers, well, I should say to our first-time viewers, and reintroduce to our regular viewers, Master Andrew Reid. he is definitely someone that you want to listen to because he's bringing some healthy tips to us during this week. We had him last week and we got a lot of beautiful reviews and questions and comments. And this week we're about to talk about something else that he wants to put us on informationally and for us to do with ourselves. So, Master Andrew, last week we spoke about the lemon and the water and how much we needed to do that, and especially in the morning, okay? And this week, we're going to talk about what?
Greetings and blessings, Sister Azziza. We just want to recap what we spoke about last week. We have the lemon and water first thing in the morning, 45 minutes before we eat anything at all. I heard some questions stating that what time, how much time a day? Once in the morning, 32 ounces. We drink that down, we wait. That's all we're doing. So just by recapping what happened and what I said, you know, I've been reading the comments as you sent me back to the comments. So I've been reading them and it's very interesting because a lot of people are doing it already, but just need a little touch the notes again, all right? So this week, I want to talk about bacteria balancing in your stomach. You know, after you have that lemon and water, then you're flushing your system. Remember, give it 2 weeks. I know you're feeling the effects already, but just give it another week. And then we're going to introduce a small amount of some ingredients that will just stabilize the bacteria in your stomach.
Okay.
And it also does so much more. So we have researched about the lemon. I hope we have researched what lemon does, how much more it does from what I'm telling you that it does. And now we're going to put ginger. Even in the comments, a lot of people was like, man, the ginger is hot, and we have gingers like Miracle Lava. I mean, all of that is right. But let's just define what it does.
Okay.
It's great for the digestive system, right? It is good for just your gut health. A lot of people can't provide their own insulin. That helps provide insulin. Now, what all of that does?
That's interesting. I didn't even know that.
And that's the same reason why I say, when I say something on this show and, you know, other things that people will see me in, we keep it so simple. Because remember, and I'm not going to try to drift away from it, but it's a family of turmeric.
Okay.
And we know how turmeric is good for us in many ways. Okay, we're not going to go there yet. Like I said, we're going to give the information timely. So we're going to give the information timely, right? So the ginger root, I want you to go and get the information on it. Everything that we do or say here about health, it's very important that you go and you research the information. We're talking about ginger root. Always bring a little one here.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
It's ginger root. It's the same ginger root, right? And the formula is with water. You put it in a blender. So, you know, if people can just use their discretion and measure, you know, let's put it up to the camera a little bit. Measure. This is what it is. And put half a bottle. So that would be 8 ounces of water in a blender. Blend it up. Blend it up really good. Leave it for about 5 minutes and then blend it again.
Whoa, Lee. So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How much of that ginger root? A piece like you have in your hand?
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot of ginger.
No.
No. But with a half a bottle of water, 8 ounces of water, that's going to be a strong drink.
That's why you're gonna have 3 tablespoons.
Okay,
That's it.
3 tablespoons at a time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And as I will always say, like with the lemon, as I said, different people have different tolerance because I know people are doing it already.
Okay.
Within the comments that we have from the last segment that we have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you do that, you're waiting for that to work. The feeling that you're gonna get is you're gonna feel it cleaning everything going right down. So don't believe that there's something weird happening with you. You're fine. So we have to learn to have our body to just get the natural stuff to cleanse itself, you know? And that's balancing out the bacteria, enhancing insulin. You know, I mean, I always want to give you the benefits and have you to go and read it because there's so much more to it.
So the ginger balancing out the bacteria does somewhat what a prebiotic would do for the gut, right? So that's
Yes.
our and the 3 tablespoons, do you take that after you drink your lemon water or before?
So when you take your lemon water, you're going about your day, you're having your breakfast. I would take that just before dinner.
Oh, it's the ginger just before dinner.
That's how I would take it, because when you start doing that, you find that you're not as hungry because it helps to kill the sugar. It helps to kill your cravings.
Oh, awesome.
You know, so you will not only eat less, but you will be forced to eat food with more nutrients and less filling. And we're going to get into that. So just, we're trying to get it. We're trying to get it. But let's stick to the ginger for now. Now, Sister Azziza, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel since you start doing the lemon water, and what's the reaction with your whole entire family?
Well, I can say that I feel lighter. And it's, if I don't get up, like I always keep water at the side of my bed, but it's usually just water. So actually before I actually make my lemon water, I already had probably about 8 ounces of water, but then I go and I make my lemon water, which is much more than I was doing before, because you said 32 ounces. I was not doing 32 ounces. I was only doing 8. So there is a difference. I definitely feel it because I'm drinking more. Plus, I'm using a whole lemon. I cheated some though, my friend, as we call him the bush doctor. Okay, I cheated. I used like a lemon and a half for 32 ounces of water. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
See, we're not trying to restrict people. We're just trying to give you the foods so you can help yourself. You know, we only can give you the information and you have to use your discretion.
Yes, sir.
So, you
But
know,
something else. I noticed that I started having some little breakouts in my skin, and I was getting upset because everybody gives me compliments all the time about my skin. Then when I started seeing little breakouts, I just started to trip out a little bit, you know? But then I thought about what was going on, and I realized that it's just the purging.
It is. It is because it has to clean. You know, your pulse has to open.
Just feeling better on the inside.
And then we have to also remember, maybe you use too much lemon.
Oh, okay. Well, I did cheat. Okay.
So you know, knowing that now, you have to back up on the lemon, right? Because
Yes,
that's
sir.
why I ask people to research, read the literature on everything I'm giving you.
Okay.
You know, just by saying that, we all have different blood types too.
Yes, sir.
So we use discretion in what we do. So by moving from there, now when you get the ginger, we'll see the different effects. Now, on all the member in your family that you have given that and started that with, is it the same reaction we're getting?
Well, with my grandson, it's allowing him to expel more mucus. He has a lot of mucus, and it allows him to get that mucus out. With my husband, it's about it's the cleansing. So it's been doing the same thing to him and I, you know, just cleansing us early in the morning, you know.
Beautiful. Keeping you light all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So yeah, that's beautiful. That's really, really awesome. You know, I mean, I like to hear things like those. And we can't wait to hear from the people all around the globe what's going on in their houses, you know, because it's really, really important that we go little by little. So now with the ginger, you know, I don't want to say it because I don't want people to start thinking that this is what it only does. That's why I need people to research everything that we do and we say here. Please roll with us and research everything we say. But if the insulin in your body is working properly, that means there's no sitting fat in your body.
Okay.
You can link it to that your body works different. You can think, yeah, it's working. That's all fine. But research what it does for you, because we're all different. But this is what is linked to it. It enhances all those things, and the good bacteria, it enhances those too.
Okay.
So this week is the ginger week. Last week was the lemon week. You know, and I'm so happy that we have people that are actually even talking about the ginger even before we introduce it. You know, last week we talked about lemon. This week we're talking about the ginger. So we're hoping that this will help a lot of martial artists that also has to work 2 jobs and still come back and teach their classes. We want to help those people that are committed to martial arts. We want to help them and know that they don't have to run to the pharmacy for everything. They have certain foods in their home that can take care of certain bacteria in their stomach and in their body. You know, we need to help out those people.
Based on that t-shirt you're wearing, the Deadly Art of Survival, I think we should have the Healthy Art of Survival. We should make a t-shirt.
Hey, you know, I mean, I'm here. I'm waiting for it. You know, you never know. You never know. Let's do it, because everything is a forward ever, backward never. So yep. We're moving on. You know?
I like it. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up because we just have like 30 seconds. But so this is the deal, everybody. Get on this with us and let us know what it's doing for you, okay? So you're still gonna take your lemon and water first thing in the morning, 32 ounces, and then before you eat dinner, you're gonna take that ginger. You're gonna take 3 tablespoons of the ginger and water, okay? 3 tablespoons of the ginger and water. So don't forget that you're gonna put it in the water. Okay, a big old piece of ginger root, you're gonna blend it up in 8 ounces of water. You're gonna let it sit for how long, Doc? I'm calling you down.
5 minutes. No, I'm not a doctor. I am not a doctor.
You're a doctor. You are the Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad podcast bush doctor right now, okay?
Oh,
So you're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes, and then you're going to blend it up again. 3
yes.
tables before dinner.
And then you squeeze it, strain it, take the extract out of it.
Oh,
You put that in a bottle, and every 2 days you just pour your teaspoon before dinner. I mean,
Oh.
that's just how you do it, and then you're gonna find yourself not being so hungry.
okay, so you're not gonna be so hungry. Good, good. Can we put some honey with it? No.
No. Honey is for something different.
Okay. I'm gonna stay simple, and I'm not gonna go ahead of you. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna be a good student. But we want to just welcome you back again for the next week. But listen, let's do this thing together. Okay. Let's create a movement of healthy martial artists, which will then bring about a healthy world. Okay. Because that's what we do. Each one teach one, right? So back to you, Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Master Reid. Thank you for what you've shared and whatnot. I got to get started. I got to stay on it, I should say, on what you're saying, what you're telling me to do, and I'm really feeling good from what you have already shared with me privately. And we're gonna keep it going. Thank you, Sister Azziza Muhammad, also known everybody as Mama Azziza. We're gonna start calling her that all the way through. But anyway, thank you. That was a great show. And please put that into practice. Thank you once again. And I look forward to you at our next show. Us.
Every student of a master here today, you reflect your master teacher. You want to walk like him. You want to talk like her. But you start by having an object in front of you that you admire.